deathmatch. Let's do this.
It's good to see that Modern Warfare 2 hasn't changed. The people that play it haven't changed. It's funny though, if I let that clip roll for about 20, maybe 30 more seconds, you would see me, I ended up making it behind those guys, and I took out 3 of them, and then I got killed by another noob tube. The whole team was camping back there and noob tubing. And if I let it roll for about a minute longer after that, a couple people left, couple people joined, and of course a cheater joined, and he's looking up at the sky, spinning around, killing everybody on the team, man. So you can't even get through a game without a cheater. But we got a little Modern Warfare 3 right here. This is the only lobby, that's why it's just a short, quick gameplay. It's the only lobby I could find on Modern Warfare 3. My last 2 sessions on it, trying to get some gameplay without a cheater. And as you can see, I joined late. Maybe we'll finish this video out with some Black Ops 4 or some Cold War or something, but you know, that's why I don't understand these people, like the people that constantly tell, every time I talk about how the classics, right? If I go back and I hook up the PS3 and I go back to these old classics, trying to enjoy them, record a little gameplay for some videos, and I always talk about how it's basically a waste of time now because there is so many cheaters on these games. And every time I ever say that in a video though, if I just mention that the classics got cheaters on them, you'll always have a couple of people in the comment section talking about, bro, I play these games every day. I play PS3 every day. I never run into a cheater. I don't understand. Like, you guys have nothing to gain from lying about this, man. Like, or maybe you're not lying. Maybe you're just extremely lucky and I'm just the most unlucky man on the planet. I'm not saying you can't, it's impossible to find clean lobbies back here on these old classics. I mean, you're seeing proof of that right here with the Modern Warfare 3 gameplay. I'm just saying it's extremely rare that you find a clean lobby. Let's say I dust off the PS3, right? And so one session, I'll try, say, 20 different lobbies. So that's me joining, seeing that there's a cheater in there right away, getting killed by a cheater, backing out, trying again. So I'll try, like, say 10 games on Modern Warfare 3, 5 on Black Ops 1, 5 on Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2. You know, I'll get that 20 game, 30 game session in, and then try again the next day, or a few days later, I'll try again for another 20 game or 30 game session or something like that. And, you know, I'm only finding maybe one lobby without a cheater in there. Between all those games and all those different lobbies, one lobby. I'm lucky if I find 2 clean games in there. And you're not guaranteed to get gameplay just because you find a clean lobby, man. That was the beautiful thing of not having skill-based matchmaking. You had variety. Sometimes you're up against complete beast animals that will just rip your shit up, right? Sometimes you're up against, you know, some casuals who are pretty good. Sometimes you're up against some bots that you could just drop gameplay on for days, you know. That was the beauty of not having skill based. You weren't guaranteed gameplay though. Not like you are when you reverse boost and shit. I don't get it, man. I don't understand how these people waste their time, waste their lives back on these old as hell games cheating. Like, what gratification do they get from that? What satisfaction can you get from that, man? Wouldn't that shit get boring? After even, like, not even one full game of you going God mode, never dying. You don't have to ever worry about dying. You can just, like, shoot up at the sky and you're killing everybody in the lobby. Like, wouldn't that shit get boring? You're never being tested. Like, it's just, dude, there's no thrill there. There's no, for me, I think it's whack. I don't understand what these dudes is doing. All they're doing is just fucking over all of us going back and ruining all our times going back to these classics, trying to enjoy them for myself, trying to enjoy them as well as try to get a little bit gameplay for some videos, man. That's all they're doing. They're just fucking us over, man. People who paid for the games, you know, we can't go back and play them because you got these fucking douchebags, man. But anyways, the reason why I use that opening clip is because I love Modern Warfare 2. You guys know this. Anytime somebody asks me what my favorite Call of Duty is, I always say it's right there. It's neck and neck with Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. All 3 of those CODs are right there for my favorite Call of Duty of all time. I love Modern Warfare 2. MW2 is broken as fuck, bro. I'll be the first to admit it. Every single game from that time that I call a classic, the great time in Call of Duty, the good Call of Duties, COD 4 to Black Ops 2, I love every single one of them, and every single one of them has problems, bro. I'll be the first to admit it. Modern Warfare 2, you just seen it for that opening clip, right? Blast Shield didn't protect you from that bitch-ass noob tube with danger close. You had one-man army. Commando was annoying as fuck. The sniping was out of control in that game. Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2, had problems. I think it's important when you have any type of following, whether it's big or small, if you're involved in any type of content creation with these games, I think it's important to stay level-headed with it. You don't get too positive, you don't get too negative, you call out what needs to be called out. You also give them props when they deserve it as well too. When I look at the Call of Duty community, I look at it as like, it's in like 4 different groups. You know, you got the casuals who don't bother with YouTube. They don't bother with the socials. They buy it because it's Call of Duty. They play it once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever, and that's it. That's their time with it. You got the people that are in the middle, like I just explained. You know, they'll call out the bullshit when it needs to be called out, but they'll also give credit when it's due. You got the super negative crowd. You guys know the ones that I'm talking about, where they'll turn anything into a negative. They'll turn a negative into a double negative. They'll turn a positive into a negative. It's always got to be negative, because that their following feeds off that, right? They need that negativity, and just that's how they keep the lights on. That's how they pay the bills. And I think that those types of people, although they can do some good calling out the bullshit, I think they do harm for the game as well. And then you got the super positive crowd, and I know you guys know the ones that I'm talking about, man. The super positive crowd, like, they don't give, it doesn't matter. Activision and Call of Duty could give them a plate of shit, and they'll ask for some salt and pepper and some ketchup to go with it, man. Like, as long as it's from Activision and Call of Duty, they don't give a hot shit that it's shit. Man, they're happy, man. They're good with it. There's nothing ever wrong with the game. Skill-based matchmaking is perfect and beautiful, and those companies can't do anything wrong. And those people, for obvious reasons, also cause some harm to the game as well. The reason I'm choosing to talk about this in this video is because I'm seeing the COD cycle right now in full effect. I'm seeing YouTubers out here talking about Vanguard, talking about how it was underrated. Vanguard was a great game, asking people if we took Vanguard for granted. They're doing it with Black Ops Cold War. I'm seeing people talking about Black Ops 4 lately and about how that was better than we thought it was back in the day. And I'm seeing some of these nerds out here, these Modern Warfare dudes fanboys, using this shit as ammunition to talk smack. Listen, the COD cycle is definitely a thing. There's people out here who don't know what they want, absolutely. There's people out here with huge channels that have no idea what they're talking about, man. They happen to put together entertaining videos and people will watch them, or they're good with the clickbait, they're good with the search engine bullshit, and you know, their channel blew up and they're able to get, say, 50k people to click on a video or 10k people to click on a video every time they upload or whatever. Like, whether or not they deserve it, that's a story for another day. But yes, the COD cycle is definitely real with some of these people. And there's some people too that just really hate the game in the moment, because that's where all the super sweats are on. Even the classics back in the day when we did not have skill-based, I don't give a fuck what these people want to say. We did not have skill-based matchmaking back then, but you had all the sweats on it. And what do sweats like to do? They like to abuse the meta, abuse any cheese that they can find. Whatever's cheesy in the game, they will abuse that shit, try hard their ass off, camping in the weirdest spots you've ever seen, taking you off your streak. Obviously, it wasn't as bad back then as it is now. Back then, you could breathe a lot more when you're only up against, say, 2 or 3 on the opposite team, as opposed to now you're up against entire stacked teams of super sweats, and your gunfights are rigged, and your bullets get nerfed and buffed, and like just a whole bunch of fucking bullshit that's going on with these games. But yeah, super sweats can chase you off the game, right? They can make you feel like the game is not as good as it actually is. It'll take it down a couple of notches for you when, you know, you jump on for a session, you jump on for 10, 20 games, and every single lobby you get unlucky, and every lobby's got a super sweat in there, or 2 or whatever. Yeah, they could ruin your time a little bit. So people will talk more shit about the game, or they just won't love it as much as they claim they do once all the super sweats have moved on to the next game. And I'm seeing people out here trying to tell me that the only reason why I love the classics is because of nostalgia. I got the nostalgia goggles on, and that's the only reason why I still love those games. Yeah, I do love those games. I broke down in many different videos for many reasons why I love those games. And I also broke down a lot of the problems that each and every one of those games have. I don't know if I'm talking about the problems that those games have, but I still love them. Is that nostalgia? And I'm seeing people out here trying to use this as a defense for Modern Warfare Deuce. Oh, you're only hating on Modern Warfare Deuce because it's the COD cycle and it's a cool thing to do to shit on the newest game. I mean, last I checked, just my last video alone, I talked about how Modern Warfare 2019 is still the worst COD multiplayer I've ever played. I mean, you just said it was the cool thing to do to hate on the newest Call of Duty. Wouldn't I just be hating on Modern Warfare Deuce and saying that it's the worst COD ever? If a game sucks, it sucks. It doesn't matter what's going on around it. It's going to change my opinion on the game. If the game is bad, I'm going to call it out. If it's good, I'm going to say it's good. But here's a couple of problems with it. It's not perfect, and here's why. I mean, look at me with Vanguard, man. Like, what did I say? I had a bunch of people come back to me and say, damn, dude, you were so right with Vanguard. We were coming out of the beta, I believe, for Vanguard, and I said, look, the game is phony. The movement in it is real nice. You can move around in this game. I would list off a lot of the positives with the game, and I would list off the negatives with the game, and I said, look, I think this is a game that you could skip, and you're not missing nothing. And I had a bunch of people come back to me later on who they got to play it like on a free weekend trial, or they picked it up cheap when it was on sale, and they said, bro, you were dead on with this game. I never completely hated on Vanguard. I didn't think it was a great Call of Duty. I thought it was very meh. You know, I thought it was very bland and a very forgettable Call of Duty, but I didn't hate everything about it. And the things that they added to it and the things that they did later on started making me hate the game, though. We got some really shit-ass maps. They added some stupid fucking broken, overpowered as hell perks to the game and shit like that, which made me think a little worse about the game. Look at Cold War. I always said I liked Cold War. My biggest beef with Cold War, it did have problems, but my biggest beef with Cold War was the matchmaking. The matchmaking suffocated you. You couldn't breathe. There is not a video on this channel where I say, I didn't like Cold War. You will all, when I talk about Cold War, you always hear me say, I like Cold War, but here's what held it back for me. This is why I couldn't really appreciate it for what it was, and I couldn't upload it constantly back then for multiplayer anyways. I played a lot of zombies back then, but for the multiplayer, the matchmaking was just too much, man. And you add a stupid streak like Air Patrol with skill-based matchmaking. that's a recipe for disaster. Come on, man. Just stupid decisions like that, right? Held it back. But I always say, I like Cold War. I like to think that I'm always honest about these games. I don't get caught up in the moment. If somebody wants to try to tell me that I'm too negative about a game, whatever, man. It's just, I try to be honest about that product, and my videos reflect what that game is and what they're doing with the game. And if I still rant about a game like Modern Warfare Deuce, because clearly at this point, they're not going to fix it. They're not going to change the shit that we're complaining about. If I make a video, it's because it could have something to do with Treyarch's next Call of Duty. So I'm ranting about it, and I'm trying to get it to change before that time comes. If I make a video about bundles, it's because they're getting out of control and they need to dial that shit back when we actually might get a good Call of Duty game. I mean, for me, Modern Warfare Deuce is a write-off. It's not the worst Call of Duty in the franchise, but it is down there. Trying to use this as a defense that it's the COD cycle is fucking crazy to me. Like, people would say anything, bro. But are there people guilty of the COD cycle? Absolutely. I just don't think it's your boy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm spitball, man, just trying different stuff for a video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one nonetheless. We should be back with another one tomorrow. I'm out.